So to start, I'm just going to ask you the question. I'm sure you can be heard or asked a million times a day, but we're doing this the day after the Golden Globe nominations came out, and I was so excited to see Wallace and Gromit got in there. So congratulations for that.
Um,
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, we are too to see our movie in there with all those other fantastic movies. It's incredible. Such an honor already. Yeah.
Sure, sure. And I mean, I know no one ever makes a movie, or at least 9 times out of 10, no one ever makes a movie trying to get awards. But what was your reaction when you got in there? Was it a huge surprise?
Yeah.
I think it always is, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah.
I don't ever think anything's,
Yeah.
gonna
It's never expected,
get
is
that.
it?
Yeah.
No. It's just so overwhelming, and the Golden Globes, it's amazing.
Yeah, but it is exciting. It is so exciting.
Yeah.
You say you don't make them, but when you get a nomination, oh my goodness, what a bonus is that? I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
It's lifted everyone here actually as well. The whole crew, it's not, our names are on the top of the list, but there's everybody within the studio kind of gets a lift and a buzz from it as well. So it's, the trickle down is massive.
Yeah.
Sure. No, it's super exciting. So congratulations again.
Thanks.
I just kind of want to talk to you about this movie, Vengeance Most Fowl. I'm just curious about where the ideas for this came from, kind of how long you've been working on it. I mean, I know Wallace and Gromit has been around for the 90s, but it's been a minute since we've had the last feature movie, Curse of the Were-Rabbit. How long have you been trying to get this made?
Well, it goes back quite a way. I mean, the idea started kind of kicking around really back in the days of Curse of the Were-Rabbit, which was about 2004 or 5, something like that. And it was just this idea of, gnomes are part of Wallace and Gromit's world. It wasn't a big step, but it was like, what if Wallace was to create a robot gnome, to help Gromit in the garden? It just seemed like a really fun idea. But there was like an evolution to the idea that every time I pitched it, it seemed there was just something lacking in terms of, it just seemed like tech going wrong isn't enough. There needs to be some kind of more sinister motive, a character with a more sinister and a personal one. And that's where Feathers McGraw was like the perfect answer to the problem, really, because he had this history with Wallace and Gromit, and they helped put him in prison in the zoo, 30 years ago. So it suddenly upped the ante and gave a great driving force to the movie.
Yeah.
And it became suddenly a feature film. It was a 30-minute film until
That's true.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Interesting. And Feathers was something I wanted to talk to you about too, because always loved the character. So cool to see him back like this and in such a big way. This whole movie just feels really epic, and I was so into it. But Feathers, I mean, it's not lost on me that this movie very much kind of feels like a direct sequel to The Wrong Trousers, just because of how it plays off Feathers and everything like that. I mean, I know we're talking 20, 30 years ago now, Nick, but when you were kind of working on that, did you ever have ideas to bring Feathers back like this in such a way, or did that just kind of happen naturally as this movie was developing?
It had been mentioned time to time, just in house, but never really taken seriously, because it was like, well, what would the context be? What's the idea? And nothing really quite kind of seemed to spark anything. So bringing him back was it was really the answer to a big story issue. Really, it wasn't like we set out to make a sequel.
It's been a bit of an accidental sequel, isn't it?
Yeah. And it was the perfect answer, and therefore, but we were so surprised by on the internet, just the amount that people really loved. And you have to love your villain, and how popular he'd become as a villain.
The fan response was quite overwhelming, actually, wasn't it? The flood of enthusiasm from people going, "Oh my God, Feathers is back!" And you're like, "Ooh." When you just before you announce that, going, "Oh, is it?" There's doubt, and it was really nice that that our initial sort of confidence was borne through with the response from the fans. That was great.
Yeah.
Sure. No, I saw a lot of that excitement too, and I was one of the people championing it, so it's so much fun. I really want to talk to you about the third act of this movie too, because I love just kind of, I mean, the stop motion medium in general, but just kind of seeing you guys go crazy with it. I mean, there's that long chase sequence involving cars and motorcycles and boats and trains. It's just so much, and it all is so cool to look at. I'm just kind of curious what the process of making something like that is, because it's on such a big scale. Is that something you like could have done 20 years ago, or has the stop motion medium like advanced enough so you can only do it now?
It's probably a bit of both, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think as a studio, we've got better at making films and more confident, which I think it allowed, when we were working with Mark Burton, the screenwriter on Act 3, we weren't limiting ourselves in terms of ideas based on our knowledge of what is and isn't possible in stop motion. And I think, and once we had our ambition, we then tried to figure out how we would do it. Yeah. And sort of there were certain things we could and couldn't do, and we had to work around those. But yeah, we always wanted to make the end like a big movie ending rather than anything else. And so, I mean, I personally didn't think about Act 3 as an animator. I thought about Act 3 as a filmmaker, and I think then we kind of reversed into the animation to see what we could do. And so I think for me that was the start.
Yeah, and even though like the Wallace and Gromit is clay, it's that central to the whole kind of ethos of Wallace and Gromit. We just saw the effects give us new tools in the shed, which we can play with, and we had a fantastic visual effects team. But even then, even though we wanted to be spectacular and fast and all this, there's a lot of water. There was still a remit to. It's got to fit the stop motion world. It can't. And it was getting the right balance there, because if it got too stop motion-y in the style, it would distract. And we just wanted to find a level that just works and you don't question it.
And this is the scale we work at. This is actual Feathers' actual cell from the movie, and this is actual Wallace and Gromit from the movie. So just to give an idea of the scale of things.
Yeah, that's incredible.